And
Yep, here we are. So, hello and welcome to another LoL UK custom game cast by myself, Pete, Irish Pete Johnstone, and by yourself, Dylan Soda.
Dylan's Soda Pop Osborne, and we are casting the LoL UK custom for this evening on Peter Johnston's Twitch channel. Give it a quick follow if you want to see someone practicing their League of Legends casting and getting better.
Yep, so let's get straight into it, and we see the Heimerdinger ban come out as expected. Who is that Heimerdinger ban against? So,
No, I have no idea really. I've most of these faces for me are actually relatively unknown. I'd say, is it Dibs the Dinger? Might be Dibs the Dreamer, so that would actually make sense if it is him. Obviously, there's the Poppy ban as well. So I'm guessing Dibs the Dreamer is somewhere on the purple team with those two first bans. Zinzao seems to be a target ban towards someone.
MZA? No, no, sorry.
Maybe. Whoever plays jungle, because Zinzao can be a strong jungler, and there's a Nidalee, so it could be it's jungle bans and Dibs bans at the moment.
Yeah, we did see MZ come out on a Zinjao last night, but not too much effect. I've kind of shut down a
Mm.
little bit, so could be there. What we saw as well last night was a Rise ban, so it could potentially be on the table here. Just bear in mind, we're still in 511, Echo's on the table, Rise is on the table. Um, there's still a lot of power picks to be had, Nar, Rumble, all of these guys. So we've seen very targeted bans come out, not really general power pick bans. But any
Yeah.
predictions in terms of pocket picks? Pocket picks, we've definitely seen a pretty diverse champion pool for both of these teams. So, are you expecting any surprises tonight?
I expect Dibsadinger to pull out Swain maybe, or even mid Ash, because when he doesn't get his Heimerdinger or Poppy, he will just pull out these very insane picks. And I've had the honor of playing with his Ash mid, and it was an experience. I pretty much all the power picks are open now. No jungler bans, no massive power bans besides I guess Alistair. So anything's open. I expect maybe a Jace pickup. Jace getting a massive buff with his damage and his overall abilities being able to level 6 in each ability instead of 5 because of your ultimate now being just self. It's just one big bar and it's fully maxed throughout the entire game. Looks to be a Nami hover for the moment and it will actually be locked in.
Yeah, they've redistributed the 18 skill points into the Q, W, and the E, so you don't put points in the R anymore, which means that overall at level 18 the skills should be stronger, but it does kind of introduce different skill plateaus as you level up. It's a different power spike um, pattern than you would be used to seeing on Jace before, so it'll be interesting. And then Nami first pick. Do you think this is just to kind of hide some of the power picks of the solar laners to make sure that they can't be counterpicked early, or do you really think that Blue placed such a high priority on Nami?
Well, Nami is a good priority if you can land your bubbles and land a good tidal wave. But I feel it is just sort of we're gonna hide our lane at the moment. We'll give away what the support is, but we want to have a very good AD carry. And currently Lee Sin and well, okay, it was Caitlyn, now it's Draven being hovered in. If Lee Sin gets locked in, that's a bit of a early game pressure to come in. But they're flicking through all the AD carries, and any AD carry is fair game when it comes to customs. It looks to be the Caitlyn though. Nope, they switched to Tristana, so early game and late game in those two champions already. So just pick a middleman, and they'll have all three stages of the game sort of panned out in terms of a champion.
Yeah, we've seen some Tristana in the LCS, and I think we've seen some in LPL as well. So, uh, at Worlds last year was a pick or ban, first pick or ban, and then went through the rework. Kind of fell off the radar a little bit with the other ADCs like the Jinx, the Lucians, the Graves. They all had a swing at the bat, but now that
Yeah,
everything's balanced out, Trist is seeing a resurgence, and she does one thing very well, and that's kill turrets. So if Red are able to get her some face time on those structures, they'll get a lot of global gold and maybe snowball an advantage with that Lee Sin. But you're right, it is a little bit of a split composition with the Trist and the Lee, but the Lee Sin can be used as a steroid to allow the Tristana to overcome her early game power drop. And on the other side, we see Severe and Yasuo locked in.
yeah, it's Yasuo with Smaya expected to be sort of swap around and have Yasuo go somewhere else that isn't the jungle. Can go top, can go mid, as we have seen top lane Yasuo in, I believe it was the LPL. No, LCK, because I remember Crystal got really salty about it. We've got Vladimir being looked in for what looks to be the top lane, and Wukong, if it does get locked in at this moment, could be switched with Vladimir for top and mid, or it could even go into the jungle at the moment. But Sivir offers some good disengage and engage, and Nami's so far the only person with an actual knock up for Yasuo. So I expect maybe a Malphite pick to come in or some other form of knock up. And Wukong was actually the lock in for purple side.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe just to pick the Wukong away from blue team so they don't get that natural knock-up synergy. Mundo wouldn't bring it, but you're right. We could see potentially a Rek'Sai in the jungle or a Braum, or or even a Thresh has some knock-up in his kit, so we could see some natural
Yeah.
synergy in blue's composition. But just as it stands right now, with the Cassie and the Mundo being hovered, they have one tank, two very strong damage sources, and more of a utility AD carry. They call her the Scuttle Crab because she just kind
Yeah.
of gives vision and speed, right? But um, a squishy backline composition from blue team. So if Lee Sin, Vlad, or Trist are able to get in there on top of the Wukong knockup, it could be a devastating wombo combo. So Mundo's going to have to do a lot of work in terms of zoning out these late game carries from red team.
Oh, it looks again unless there's a swap, it could be, and that's an insta lock Soraka for the final pick. So unless we see a swap, it looks to be jungle Yasuo with a top lane Mundo. I would like to see the swap because Mundo jungle can be quite strong and does have a very significant good amount of jungle clearing. But as it stands, it is going to be the jungle Yasuo, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't think the jungle clear is very effective. I don't think it has very good ganking pressure, and with only one knock-up source besides his own tornadoes, it's really going to be a low sort of synergy composition for that Yasuo.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there, and I think of a lot of a laning Yasuo's power comes from the ability to get a tremendous CS advantage. You know, use the wolves, use the raptors on top of the lane farm, and get a really high CS count, get a good itemization, which is very dependent on to do damage, and then dominate the lane and roam. But we'll have to see. I mean, it does have the potential for that off meta pick where people aren't expecting it and they have no idea how to counterplay it. But as you've said, it has the potential to fall behind and become a useless pick, essentially making it a 4-on-5 game. We'll just have to see how it plays out. On the other
Yeah,
on the other side, though, the Soraka Tristana bot lane into Nami Sivir. Do you see any advantage in this? You would think that Sivir would have a better early pushing power with her boomerang, with her ricochet, and the Nami sustain. But then the sustain is equalized a little bit by Soraka. So it's going to come down to the plays of the carries themselves. Between these two, between Grit and District Draconis, and the compositions that they have and the supports, who do you see getting an early game advantage here?
I see purple team they can get an early game advantage in terms of the bot lane. It's about how much Soraka can manage her healing because obviously it now comes off her own health bar. So if she heals Tristana a little bit too much, this could just signal one single bubble knock up and then some boomerang blades in its first blood. But she has actually gone for ignite instead of exhaust, so it does give a little bit more damage presence in the lane along with Tristana's kit. In terms of the early game, I expect it to mostly be farm instead of actual engages. With Wukong looks to be in the mid lane along with Vladimir top, and with Vladimir Mundo, it's going to be mostly just a farm lane. Maybe Vladimir trying to get some poke in, and then Cassiopeia Wukong again. I feel it's going to be farming with a little bit of trading, so it's mostly going to be the bot lane to really look out for in terms of this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as bot lane is able to transition like pushing pressure and map control into Drake control, that the team that secures the first two Drakes in this game could be able to snowball that into potentially an aspect of the Dragon victory or anything else like that. But looking at the power spikes for these teams as well, I think Severe will come online a bit earlier. Like I said, she should be able to outfarm Tristana and get to either an Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, or a Bloodthirster, Static Shiv, earlier than Tristana is able to get her items. And I think that if Yasuo is effective in the jungle and he's able to get some ganks and get ahead, he'll become quite scary as well. So we've seen Vlad's on the other side take up to level 9 and some itemization before they're able to do anything besides passively farm and dodge skill shots with the pool. So I think that blue has the onus on them to come out of the gate running to go at red and try and take advantages from them and be stronger in the early game. Looking at the compositions, that's how you would see it playing out. But there is definitely potential in this red team to do early damage, get resets, and turn fights around. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Yeah, it seems to be with Yasuo. It depends on also how he builds because we've seen Echo when he goes top or mid lane, he will just pull damage. But then when he goes into the jungle, it's very defensive, very tanky. So I'm wondering if Yasuo is going to be sort of a second front line and merely using his ultimate for CC disruption and a little bit of damage as opposed to actually wanting to blow up the enemy team, which in a way would help giving them tanks. Because Wukong, for the most part, isn't probably going to build that tank. He's probably going to go for a full AD build. And same with Vladimir, besides maybe a Spirit Visage, he's gonna build a lot of AP and also have a Zonya. So I feel if it is going to be a tanky Yasuo jungle, that will give the front line advantage to Blue side. So we'll have the big tanky Mundo and the equally tanky jungle Yasuo if he is starting to build tanky. The mic's not working.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I was talking when
There
I was
you go.
muted and not talking when I was quiet. But just from your previous experience casting these champs, do any of them stand out? These players, do any of them stand out for you on these champions as having a potential for making big plays in this game and potentially snowballing and carrying their team hard?
I know LoLUK and MZ are pretty solid players along with Deltron, so with those three on the same team, they can really make some waves. But besides that, I don't really know rest of the players. Again, Dibs, now that I know who Dibs Ding actually is, and seeing the champion that he's on, he is a very skilled player. And even in a support position, I feel he can just pull out something completely crazy and end up getting his team a massive advantage. So, really, really up to the teams themselves and their own skill levels. Because I feel any of these guys could just out anything and get their team a huge advantage.
Dibs has another account by the name of Kubo, is that correct?
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure because
I think so,
I
yeah.
know he's got Dibs the Dreamer. He also had another one
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like the one you just mentioned, but yeah, that one where you see Poppy and Heimerdinger bands, and I'm like, I wonder if that's his 20th account or whatever. So
Yeah,
he
so
is very versatile in his champion pool,
I
even
believe
though he does get a permaban.
I believe it is the same guy who played Janna top lane last night into Shen and absolutely destroyed Shen in terms of farm and pressure, and even roamed to get a kill on Luki, who was on Xinjiao in mid at the time. It was very sad to watch, but a very enjoyable game too, you know. So yeah, Dibs definitely has the potential to carry this, and
Yeah, and depending on what he builds on Soraka, because he could just go, okay, I'm going to build a Sight Stone and then just go full AP if you guys don't mind, because he can just make these stupidly good outplays on just any champion. I feel if he can time his abilities, like his silence and his Q correctly, he can just do some big flashy plays.
yeah.
He's even started with the AP items, so you could see just a full AP Soraka with a Sight Stone to come out. And it is custom, so I wouldn't put it past these guys, because these guys can just do anything, and it will just be entertaining as hell.
So what do you think about the Mundo versus the Wukong up top? Will it be a bit of a wet noodle fest early game until these guys get
I
some
think it's
items?
Mundo versus Vladimir.
Uh,
Yeah, Vlad's going top with TP, so it is Wukong mid.
okay. Versus the Cass.
And
Interesting.
well, I think Vlad Mundo's just going to be sort of farm, as you said. Vlad doesn't really do much until level 9, and then Mundo just doesn't really do much until 20 minutes in when there's going to be big team fights, and he just face tanks everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a Nami X rank here, so that gives a little bit more insight into how good Riding Panda is. There's a little bit of trading going on in the bot lane at the moment, and Red side are actually the ones winning the trade at the moment,
Great using
with
that
Civic going
explosive.
quite low.
Yeah, great using that explosive shot to get a few successive auto attacks onto District Draconis, and then when it exploded, pop it through. Didn't see the spell shield to block it at the time, so potentially already down. But you can say Red are getting the advantage in these early trades for sure.
Yeah, and Dibs is landing those Qs, so he's getting health back, so we can sort of consistently heal his AD character. That's one thing really underrated about the new Soraka is, well, it's not really new anymore, but just you can just keep landing those Qs. You can effectively heal your AD carry forever, especially if you've got a decent health regen, like building a Warmongs and whatnot. But red side definitely are getting pressured very hard in the early game here.
Yeah, we see Cassie in the mid lane pushed up to tower. You'd probably expect that though, ranged against melee, especially with her poison tick.
Yeah,
Bubble,
Poison take a nice bubble there as well. But
exhaust bubble.
the exhaust actually going to go down onto Tristana, but it's still red side are the ones just dealing all the damage. But now Wukong's actually going to be engaging onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin is going to flash in. Is the red buff going to be enough? The barrier is going to come out, and it's not going to. If no, the flash coming out of Wukong for first blood.
Flash auto attack, beautiful. And that's going to be very
Flash
useful on
auto
him.
attack, and Luki is going to try and go on to Vladimir in the top lane. Nothing really to come out of it. There's the start of the not so much gang pressure. The flash coming in. Is the bomb going to be enough? It's going to be enough. Dibsdinger getting that one with the ignite tick, and that is red side already getting ahead early.
Kills secured by the support, and these kills are going to be really important to help Red's team get over that bit of scaling that they need on Trist, and get a bit of a steroid, as I said, to help them have an earlier late game. But definitely going in the advantage. You see that red team already up 1k just from those 2 kills and the first blood, and I think that having the double longsword onto Wu in the middle and the flask now gives them enough sustain and upfront damage to begin to trade with Cass. So unfortunate for her to get ganked there, but great news for red team.
Yeah, double longsword gonna go into that brutalizer. Will give him some armor pen on the Mundo and some nice cooldown reduction as well, which he will need a little bit later on. And the kill going over to Divs just means he gets a earlier sight stone, which I hope is what he's going for, though he can upgrade his trinket item.
Yeah,
I mean, Tristana didn't really need the kill because she's ahead by 11 farm, so she's doing all right in her gold management anyway.
yes, definitely. And we see even with that kill that Kolbana is still down a CS, about 10 CS in the mid lane, and still getting harassed off CS. So even with those items, it's still going to be a tough lane for him. We may need to see more jungle intervention to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lee Sin is going to just sort of focus the mid lane because I know that's where they're going to struggle most. He knows his bot lane has now gotten ahead with Tristana now getting her pickaxe and Soraka going for the sites. And so he's thinking, okay, well, top lane's going to be a bit of a farm fest. Bot lane is now secured, so we'll just sort of gank mid. But Wukong's still trying in. He's still trying to get the harassing, but it could cost him in the end.
Yeah, and MZ's happy to go aggressive here. She's got good ward coverage down the bot side, which is where Lee Sin is. And Luki's ready there to preemptively counter gank.
Yeah, and actually going in onto Luke. Luke is going to dash past it, but he is getting quite low. He is very, very weak. The red buff is on him, but it's not going to be enough. Did force the flash, I believe. So that is flash down for Yasuo, and that eliminates a lot of his gank pressure, really.
Yes, and I think if you look at the itemization, that Lee Sin's already sitting on a skirmishers and a longsword, whereas Yasuo Luki only has that rangers. So in terms of itemization, Lee Sin is miles ahead, and he's known for being more of an early game bully.
Yeah, big silencer going on. A stun actually going to land onto Sivir. The shield didn't clear the, well, did clear the stun in the end, but still forced to run away. And it's red side still being very aggressive in this bottom lane, although now Mundo's pushing Vladimir into his own tower, so may have to see Lee Sin intervene here as he is doing the Krugs at the moment, but he could easily just run up to the top lane and give a gank.
Yeah, I think that Vladimir's happy to farm under turret and just, he can pretty effectively last hit, so just get that CS and just keep scaling in experience. Here's a fight.
Yeah, and the bubble lands onto Tristana there.
Yeah, the red are very happy to trade it. They've got the advantage here, and blue seem a little bit timid, which is hurting them, and their positioning isn't great taking those bubbles, so here as you predicted.
Yeah, and the Q's going to land in onto Deltron Zoo. Deltron's trying to get away. Just going to be a little bit of a trade there, shielding back into Vladimir, so there's some more pressure to help Vladimir re-push his lane back in.
Yeah, I think they knew that they didn't have any real kill potential on the Mundo, so it wasn't worth going in and potentially taking tower hits for it. So it relieves a little bit of pressure, but we do see Yasuo transition up top for lane gank, maybe spotted.
Yeah, don't know if there's going to be enough CC to really hold down Vladimir. He's going to dodge the Q here. He's just going to Sanguine pull out. They'll probably get a nice heal off as well. Bot lane, there's trades is flipping all over the map, and nothing really to come out of any of them. Although Wukong's still being pushed back to his tower here, so and it's down a lot of CS. It's actually going to jump in. It's going to use the Cyclone here, along with the Haunting guys coming in, but he's still going to beat up MZ. So the ultimate wasn't enough out of MZ, and now it's another kill going over to Wukong.
Yeah, very smart by Cabana coming back to lane with his completed brutalizer, realizing that MZ's only sitting on the Doran's ring and the mana crystal, so she has no real combat stats from her items. She hasn't reached those plateaus in terms of her passive stacks yet, so now is the time to kill her and take an advantage, and he did a really good job of it.
Give him a little bit of time to catch up in CS, as he can trade more effectively against a Yasuo than he can a Cassiopeia. And actually are going to jump in onto Sivir. Sivir surely to go down and no, she's going to blow the heal, the exhaust onto Tristana. Isn't going to get the reset to jump away. It's just going to poke Redding Panda a little bit more. And Sivir is going to force to go back here. She is level 6, has been in that lane for a while. And this will be actually her first back. No, she is going to stay in her lane a little bit longer to maybe defend that tower.
This is very greedy because Tristana's already been back and is sitting on a completed pickaxe, whereas Severe only has that Doran's Blade and doesn't have any real effective combat stats.
Yeah, actually, it's going to dive in. Soraka's going to dive in, and Dimsding is going to get another kill onto Sivir. Well, not onto Sivir, but onto someone else here. And Yasuo's going to try and jump in onto Soraka. Soraka is going to flash away the kick coming in onto Lee Sin. And they are looking to try and re-dive onto Luki.
But yeah, very, very greedy in the end for Severe to stay. She was waiting for her BF. She did buy it, but now she's put a number of kills onto the bot lane. So another one for Dibs on that Soraka is going to make her even more terrifying. And a miss bubble from Nami on a static target.
Yeah, Trist is on 1.3k, so a little bit more farm, and then she'll go back for her BF sword. And there is actually going to... Oh.
Baits the ult from Soraka. Still taking sustained
damage. My connection is just dropped.
Okay, so Lee Sin goes down to Severe, a fight in the tri-bush. Looks like Luki is going to go down, but Grit, who jumped out on a tiny bit of health, was taken out by Vlad. Wukong is getting the knock up onto Severe, who pops her spell sheet, gone under tower, but the dash and the spin is enough to take it out, especially with the red and the blue buff. So in the end, it's 2 for 4 in favor of red team. The only person left alive is Mundo, who's an island farming away in the top, and that means that overall it's 8 kills to 3 in favor of red, who now have a 2k gold advantage and could potentially start taking the first turret. So yeah, it's looking very good. Now Tristana's back on a pickaxe and a BF sword, to just the BF sword of Severe, so even more of a power disparity there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, as Mundo continues to burn on his turret, in the mid lane, Wukong is on 401, brutalizer and a pickaxe now, and a longsword, so building towards the last whisperer. Lee Sin up the top, manages to get the kick of Mundo back into the tower, takes the tower hit, and down he goes. Very well played by Chris to get a kill onto that Mundo, but you know, a little bit too late in terms of
man.
And how are you getting on?
I'm in the loading screen.
Okay, great. Well, you've missed loads of action. It's 9 to 3, but
okay, I'm here.
From the look of it, there's going to be a lot more. And here's Wukong getting ganked in the middle.
Spectator mode. Can you get me into spectating? Can you push me into the action?
So Colbana is just trying to dodge. He does eventually get knocked up by Yasuo and gets taken down with the last breath, the ultimate there. But a kill back for blue, but overall red very much in control of the game in terms of itemization and pressure and kills.
Okay then, so my screen is spectator mode down again for me. Oh my god, I hate this game so much. This game is terrible.
Just want to try
0 out of 10.
Try and do a fully kill your client, and then.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to my whole client.
Okay, well I'll just continue on anyway. In the meantime, so yeah, red team continuing to push their advantage now. Bot and top lane are both pushed to towers. Bot lane tower actually goes down. Trist jumps in. There's the tidal wave back from Nami, dodged by both, and it looks like red are maintaining control down there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, probably the one ray of hope for blue team is MZ, who's up about 18 farm on that Colbana, but she's sitting at 232, where he's at 411 with now completed brutalizer and pickaxe. So he's going to have a really strong mid-game spike and be very difficult for blue team to deal with, especially given the squishy nature of their composition. So blue are probably just going to have to get some good defensive wards down and try and farm up as much as they can, maybe concede some early objectives like outer towers and drakes, and just hope that by mistakes and outplays they're able to claw back some of this advantage. The 2.5k gold advantage that red team now have over them, which is only going to grow as some of these outer turrets start falling. Looks like red team are transitioning over to Drake. They have pretty poor vision coverage in the red side jungle um, for red teams, so they're going to need to work on clearing out some of blue's vision, or maybe just go for the gank down bot and with a two-man advantage and transition to Drake. Oh, there's the dash and the spin from Kolbana onto the Nami. Eventually takes her down with the backup of the Soraka. He leaves the decoy behind. Trist blows MZ's Cassie back out of the fight. Lands, and he looks like he's caught now by the petrifying gaze and does get taken down by the poison fangs from MZ. She's doing some real work now on Kolbana. That's a 2-for-1 with Yasuo going down in the return. Um, Lee Sin is able to pop in and quickly take care of that Cassiopeia and subsequently the low health Sabir that was hiding behind her. So again, it's a 2-for-3 in favor of red team, with all of the carries going down on blue team. So overall 6-13 in terms of kills, now 2k gold advantage. So yeah, a good fight by red, and I think blue's composition.
Oh yes, boom, back in.
Oh, good job.
I got too excited. I got so excited for that because I like casting. Okay, awesome. 16-13. Damn, blue side. You are doing what I thought was going to happen. Let's go kind of far behind. So I've got to redo my UI. Dang it. Switch those around so everyone's in the right place. Okay, there you go.
Just looking at the item build on LoLUK and this Yasuo, which I want to pay close attention to. He's 1-2-4 now. He's a little bit of farm ahead of Lee Sin, but Lee Sin's been doing some lane work. And he's sitting on just the Ranger's tier 1 item, a static shiv and a pickaxe. So a curious build for him. He's facing into a Lee Sin with a completed Rangers, a completed Sightstone and Merc threads. So definitely a clear advantage for Lee Sin that he's going to be able to maintain coming into the mid game.
Yeah, they got the red side now have a double sight, so I'm going to take the first dragon of the game. And Yasuo, like, he has the static shift, but he's got a longsword to back up that damage. He has nothing else backing up that static shift crit, so he really needs to sort of farm up, get an infinity edge, and finish up his jungle lighter, so he can start doing a lot of damage, actually start doing work in his team fight. So it's going to look like he's going to be building tankers. A kick actually going into Cassiopeia. Great flash over the wall there, but it will not be enough. Tristana going to jump in, going to get the reset, probably jump away whilst this is all happening. Mundo is bullying Vladimir a little bit in the top lane. And Yasuo is being chased down there by Tristana, but Yasuo is going to get away. And whilst this is all happening, blue side are going to push down the bot lane tower and get their first tower of the game as the Baron Scuttler Crab is being taken down. But Vladimir now going to run in. Luki's going to take a tower shot in the end. And Delta Zero and Luki are pretty caught up here. There is a tornado available for Luki, but he's just going to end up going down to SKT. Chris is going to land the kick. He's going to go in onto Deltron Zero, but the ultimate is running for Deltron. He should be able to get out of this one alive, but Lee Sin is sticking to him. It's not going to be enough, though. Yeah. And overall, it was a good pickup.
The problem with a Yasuo jungle is that Yasuo suffers two problems. He's hard to play when he's behind, and he has no real reliable CC. So in this case, he is behind, and he's not able to get CC and ganks, so not effective even when he gets good positioning. So yeah, this Yasuo pick is really hurting blue, and you can see it in a 9-kill disadvantage, and in a now 5.5k goal disadvantage that they have, and 1 turret down.
Yeah, and Red Riding Panda is going to get taken out here most likely. Is the bomb going to be of no? It's not. She actually kills herself, but the teleporter is going to pick up the last hit on that one. It was a good tidal wave, but Vladimir TP too strong. And Luki trying to pick up the red buff, it might be the last thing he wants to do here. Vladimir going to try and harass it a little bit along with Lee Sin. SKT come around the backside. It's a big hemo play going on. Actually hits 2 people. Chris going to feed is going to pick up 2 kills in the end.
Yeah,
that was another good fight.
I think that blue team have to realize that it's not their jungle anymore, and that they can't go in there and try and take objectives, even mini objectives like that, without much better vision control. You mentioned the double sightstone over on red, and that's doing work. Look at those wards littered all over red side. They're able to get the vision, see where the rest of the blue team is, and get the picks. So yeah, very good fight for red, and extending the lead. 3 turrets to 1 now, 1 Drake to 0, 12 kills up. So you could say very much at this stage it's red's game to throw away. But however, just keep one eye on that scaling Cassiopeia, because if her and Mundo are able to do enough work with the Severe to give him more mobility and peel, then she could do a lot of work in a fight. And if red are able to, or if blue are able to get the game up to about 45 minutes, make it go late game, and the dead timers are really long, one good Cassiopeia fight could mean the end of the game for red. So while they're ahead, they'll always have to respect her potential damage in fights.
Yeah, and Deltron Zero now has the Spirit of Rush. His ultimate is going to heal for a lot more. And top side is also, there's no ward, so they can still get this if they want to. They're trying to take down this tower. Luki's actually going to jump in. He's going to use the last breath, but he's getting smashed by the tower that still is yet to go down. Vladimir's going to pick up that kill. Deltron Zero is now going to pop the ultimate. He's going to try and get away here, but the damage might be a little bit too much. The Q is going to land. Lee Sin's going to jump in there. The ultimate's soon to wear off, and soon will be Deltron Zero's deathbed here. And it will be Chris going to be picked up yet another kill. Chista's now going to jump in. The spell shift to come out of Sivir. A nice bubble there to stop Grit. They're going to flash in onto Red Riding Panda this time. And now they're going to jump onto it, and Grit is going to pick up that kill. So it's another 3-for-nothing exchange for Red side.
Yeah, you can see what LoLUK wanted to do. He wanted to ensure that Mundo was able to get the tower and get the global gold advantage for his team. But in the end, the 2 kills on the top side and the other kill on the bottom side mean that any gold advantage they did gain from the tower was completely nullified by the kill gold. And towers don't grow back and people do. So overall, that was a great trade for Red, and they open up the gold advantage even a little bit more now.
Yeah, it's going to be a cut loss to come out of Luki. Luki jumping over the wall here, and he's a little bit in no man's land at the moment, especially if he does get stunned up. He will not. Is going to use the tornado to try and get away, but there's a Lee Sin. They're going to be picking up a nice flash over the wall there. But he's just going to take everyone a little bit before they can try and chase him down. Chris is going to walk around his. Soon he's going to run into him. Actually, he's going to ward hop over the wall here. Surely going to be a kill to come out, and Baraka with the blessing just to get a nice little assist there, because she does actually have the Medjai's now and a completed Frost Queen's claim. So those assists and those kills are actually going to give her quite a bit of AP.
Yes, definitely. And I think, like, looking at Yasuo's build, you think that he's obviously going into Blade of the Rune King. Do you think
that's Tristana? I jump over the wall there. No, the damage is actually not going to be enough.
And there's a knock-up onto Nami.
Yeah, and the Cyclone actually going to be coming in onto Nami. Nami's surely going to go down, and they actually the dubstep ignite to come out of SKT here. So another good kill there. Nearly 2 kills if Sivir had actually gone down.
You have to see it real fast, but he popped his clone to take the last Poison Fang, and the clone died so fast, but he managed to get out with the kill, which is great. Yasuo's building that Blade of the Rune King and the static shift. Do you think he'll ever do enough damage with his item disadvantage to be able to take out the backline carries of Red before he's taken out?
Well, speaking of Luki getting taken out, he just got exploded where he was standing, and Shazam's going to jump in and full into the front line. It looks like nothing else to come out of it there. Yeah, Yasuo's build at the moment 174 and is now behind in farm. He's really, like you said, in 45 minutes. Yeah, sure, he can actually be, very tanky. Have all of his times. But at the moment, a cut last and a static shiv is not gonna kill anyone at this point. Lee Sin gonna jump in there. He's gonna knock back the Sivir out of all the people to land that, and Grit is gonna pick up that kill. A great kick right there by Lee Sin.
Yeah, it was a great kick, but you have to comment that Sivir should have been able to use her spell shield to negate that kick displacement. So a bit of a slip up there for blue team, but really beautiful insect play there by Chris Gunafeed. So some top quality plays coming out of this game.
Yeah, it was a great kick. I feel so far Sivir's spell shields have just been a little bit late at times, and that's really all it's been for Sivir. She'd landed some better spell shields. These fights could have been a little better. That could have been just a Lee Sin trying to kick a Sivir back, and then just gets caught out by 4 people, and he's not building necessarily that tanky, so he does go down quite easy. He's going for a more damage-oriented build.
Yeah, going into Black Cleaver now, I think he realizes that he's not going to continue to be the primary damage source, so getting that global armor shred onto targets will really help Tristana to burn him down quickly, especially the Mundo. You've got to think that item is built specifically to negate his power.
Yeah, and it's going to be a dragon for blue side, which is going to give them a little bit of a damage buff, which will help them, especially with the scaling. Cassiopeia, who now has a Moon's Echo, has the 2 of the best, is sitting on about 1.1k gold here, so she will have needed to large one, and maybe even will go for maybe a Zhonya's, as Chris is going to jump in onto Luki, and surely Luki's going to go down. He's just in a jungle that he's not invited to, and it was the Lee Sin kick to finish that one off. That's another kill onto Chris. So that's Chris and SKT, both 8 kills in their respective roles.
Poor old Luki was a long way from home, and there was no support nearby. Here's a Soraka chasing out the duo bot lane. They've got to... They've got to imagine that the whole of Red Team was behind and ready to do that. And you see Red Team utilizing excellent vision control, denying vision in blue zone jungles to them so that they're afraid even to go in and get simple camps. And that means that the gold advantage gets larger and larger as blue gets starved out of the game by red. Um, you've also got your completed Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer plus Boots 2 onto Tristana now. So
Wow, Siv's gonna get blown off on the spot there. Another great pick up there by red side.
yeah, she's so far behind now on 153 that she's having trouble even not getting killed in these fights, let alone applying any damage to red team. So very much red team's game at this stage. But I think they just need to keep pushing in objectives and make sure that they close out the game in a timely fashion so blue team aren't allowed back into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's an Ether Wisp coming out of Soraka, so that could be going into any number of items. Is the Cyclone going to come in? Divs are going to pick up another kill. A three-man Hemoplay going to come out. Is it going to take down Cassia? No, it is not actually. She actually ended up using the barrier. LoLUK coming in around the backside. Is getting critted so hard. It's going to go down once again. And that should be the mid tower and be a 5-2 tower advantage for red side.
That 2-item Tristana is able to use 4 auto attacks to 100 to 0 to Yasuo. 3 auto attacks almost takes out the
and
Sivir.
I was going to say 100 to 0 the Sivir, but at the moment, no, the Blessing going to come out here. And Sivir is going to get away with her ultimate, but could have been Tristana going down there and end up face tanking the tower. It should be the tower 2 go down. Maybe. No, it will not. It won't actually be going down, so red team going to have to wait for one more push.
We also see the Magi's coming out onto Dibs in this game, so pretty confident now at 3-1-16 and a massive 14k gold advantage and 23 kill advantage that his team is going to be able to protect him enough that he's not going to lose those Magi stacks. But yeah, red team very scary right now. Blue team.
Yeah, Chris going in, they're jumping in onto Luki. Luki not really going down at the moment, but now he actually does go down. Chris going down, and now Vladimir going to pick up a kill onto Cassiopeia as well.
Yes.
And yeah, Dibs has had the Magi's for quite a while. Shisana's going to jump in, going to start blowing up onto Red Riding Panda. But no, the shutdown is going to go down to Mundo. And there's a little bit of the, I guess you can say disrespect. It's not really respecting the damage. Lee Sin going to go in, jumping onto Doctor Zero. They really want to kill Red Riding Panda. Doctor Zero is just going to use his ultimate to heal back up. Civ are going to kill Soraka, and while Lee Sin takes down the Nami. And this tower still hasn't gone down, but now it is finally going to go down thanks to the Wukong.
Yeah, so that's quite a few stacks missing off the Magi's there for the Soraka. But yeah, even with that, as you say, disrespect under the towers, I think red team know that they're strong enough to make a misplay like that and still win the game. But it does delay it, and it buys blue a little bit more time, buys them a little bit more hope. And make no mistake, the chances of this winning this game are very, very slim. But the more mistakes that red make, the higher the chances get. So blue team hanging in there, defending well, not giving away too much that they weren't able to prevent red from taking. You know what I mean? They're not going out into the map and chasing down kills and getting caught doing it. They're getting killed under their own towers, which is a little bit different. But smart play by blue overall to try and take what advantages they can. But I don't know about this one, Luki.
Yeah, Luki once again just being put out in the jungle. I'm not even sure if he's what game he's playing at the moment, because it's definitely not League of Legends. It's just Feed of Legends, because he's just constantly in their jungle, constantly just getting killed, and he's just not providing much for the team. He's 111-4, still on that cutlass. Actually looks to be going for a bit of a troll build here with Tear of the Goddess. I'm going to just say it's for the Muramana, but for that extra damage, man.
Yeah,
let's not definitely no trolling, man. This ain't League of Legends.
It's interesting to
and the Hex.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at the score difference on the junglers, 1-11 to 10-1, so the complete opposite impact on the games there. So, potentially didn't mean to pick Yasuo, maybe meant to play it in another lane and couldn't swap, but here's an engage.
Yeah, there's going to be another engage, a nice civil one. It's going to land off the Taiwan is going to come up, but so far nothing really coming out. If the last breath's going to come out, Luki's going to get kicked back. His Dibs Dinger is going to pick another kill. Vladimir's going to maybe doing the Zonies and the Sanguine pools to come out. Tristana is jumping in all over the place. Wukong and Tristana both picking up respective kills. Falcon Zero forces to flash away. And that was another good fight. 3 for nothing, and it could be a push for the Nexus.
Yeah, I think that could be game there. Dead timers are still relatively short, but you have a Tristana, so the towers are going to go down. And then it's just a case of whether red want to take that 4-on-5 fight with low health bars and low resource, and in the end they decide not to. They just simply do not have the minions to do it. So it took a lot of advantage. Baron's on the board. Drake is going to be on the board. I don't think this team should focus too much on Drake 2 at this stage. They can close out the game without it, but Baron would certainly be a huge objective for them. And again, just make sure as they leave that they get vision down and they take all of the camps and deny as much experience in gold to blue. So even though the clock is ticking, they're not really getting any stronger.
Yeah, and you see Lee Sin going for a full sort of AD, but Luki just walking into the jungle, not even caring at the moment, is gonna go. No, the wall's actually gonna block the auto attack, and Grit is forced to jump over. Almost a nice play there.
Yeah,
With
very
the
nice.
wall, but
Luki actually playing very well around his wind wall, moving back and forth and forcing the Tristana to reposition between auto attacks and slowing down her damage. But ultimately, Grit is just so far ahead that he can kill anybody on the map 1-on-1 and probably 1-on-2 at this stage.
yeah, Red Riding Panda getting also just very caught out. SKT picking up yet another kill. Has 2 damage items complete, almost 3. Looks like he finished off that Yomu's Ghost Blade.
So yeah,
And there's a little bit of argue going on in blue side chat at the moment. So I am assuming there might have been some people who wanted to go in different lanes because Tear of the Goddess Yasuo is just not something you see every day.
no.
Even in customs.
Even
Luki gonna dive once again. It's gonna land a nice last breath though, but it's not gonna be enough. Actually, it will be enough. Tristana's gonna go down to Cassiopeia. Wukong is gonna pick up a respected kill though, and this fight is going a little bit haywire from red side. It's a big pointing guys coming out, and Sivir gonna pick up a kill to Wukong. Wukong picks up Cassiopeia, but overall it's a double kill for Sivir and a 3 for 2 in favor of blue side. The Hemo play gonna come out. It's actually going to take down Nami with the amount of damage coming out. Deltron 0 and Sivir forced to back away.
Dibs winning the fight. The Soraka, the support Soraka pushing.
The flash,
pushing the.
Yes, red buff and eluded Zeko. Like I said, I do not expect him to build in the norm. He will go full AP Soraka and still carry 4-2 and 23. But they are overstaying their welcome a little bit here. There are 3 members up in the base at the moment.
If you look at the gold, this support Soraka is actually 200 gold ahead of the ADC Sivir, so she's able to one-on-one her comfortably. Yasuo going
wow! Down. That damage coming out of Vladimir just destroying the Yasuo.
We did see the Cassiopeia damage in the last fight where Red lost 2 members. Cassie was able to do tremendous damage, but
well, the blessing to come up is not going to be enough. MG going to pick up another kill here. Is ahead in farm, does have 6 kills to her name, although she has died 8 times. Is sitting on, has 9k gold overall, is sitting on just under 1k, so she can maybe get a Void Staff to start blasting through the little MR that is on red side. So you never know, there still could be a chance of a turnaround, but it's getting more unlikely as each tower goes down.
Yeah, with all of this constant brawling that's going on, it hasn't even been a conscious decision by Red to push the side lanes, but they've pushed themselves.
And that's another kill going over to Chris. It's going to feed. And they are going to jump in it, but again, red side, quite a few low health bars here. Lee Sin is going to pick up a double kill actually onto Sivir. There's going to be a flash in here, a nice flash ultimate there. It's going to be kills traded Lee Sin and Mundo. Triple kill going over to Lee Sin. Dalton is going to run into this fountain. Not sure why Red Team will just go and finish off the Nexus at this point.
Perhaps a little bit of BM from them, but yeah, with the minion wave alone taking the top lane.
That's a nice little trade in. Last round for Hemo played up. Saber Pool going to come out also, and it's going to be Vladimir picking up their car. I just want to get all the towers. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Top lane inhibitor.
I think that Red Team are definitely styling a little bit now and seeing how they can pad their KDA and maybe build up their fan bases. But yeah, a very enjoyable game to watch. But you can say that Red really outplayed Blue in a lot of lanes and took individual advantages there in CS leads. Yasuo wasn't able to exert any influence. The only fight we saw him in release in early, he had to run, blow his splash, and didn't even get any effective damage back. So Red Team always in control of this. And despite some minor slip-ups, and there's another one, they should be able to...
Oh, and Dibs Dinger, man, you need 20 stacks so I can, last Kiori's Steam music, man. Come on, 20 stacks, man. And actually, speaking of stacks, sort of the cult now picked up for Wukong is sitting on 6 stacks, and he has finished his Yomu. So now a crap ton of damage is going to come out of Wukong. I expect maybe a Play the Ring team to come out of him just for a little bit more lifesteal and just some attack speed to take down towers a little bit quicker along with the Yomu's proc. But really no idea at this point. Is this going to be only a second dragon to come out for red side and only 3 dragons overall?
So it's getting to the point now where it's 46 kills to 14. You start needing to send off to NASA to calculate the goal difference, which is sitting at 15k 30 minutes in. 2 Drakes to 1, The game's gone on so long that Red actually ended up picking a Drake, even though the stat advantage they're getting from it is very small. I think almost only picked it up to deny it to Blue, so there's no potential comeback mechanic for them. Red should seek to, if not take Baron, then at least secure Baron Vision and hold it so Blue can't backdoor it anyway, and then the game is theirs. I think with two inhibitor turrets down and one inhibitor dead at the moment, winning pressure will win the game if Blue are able to if Red are able to position correctly.
Yeah, and the scary thing though is so Mundo has Spirit Visage, has picked up Warmonk, and now Waters Mill probably going into that Randuin. So he is starting to get tanky. And a tanky Mundo is not a fun Mundo, especially now that he's going to have insane health regen with not only the Warmonk, but obviously his ultimate being empowered. See that? See, look at that. Like, 9-0-11 Vladimir, that's all that did to Mundo with only two sort of MR items. So this is the type of tank that Mundo can be at this stage in the game, even though they're down, 30 odd kills.
Yeah. The only thing that's surprising me here is that, firstly, on the Mundo, we're not seeing an awful lot of armor stacked. So with the Lee Sin and the Tristana being as strong as they are, you'd expect to see it. But conversely, then on the Grit, there's no armor pin because nobody's built huge amounts of armor. Big crits coming in.
Big crits and almost Tristana almost going down there. Dalton's going into the front line. That's not where he wants to be. He does get destroyed where he stands.
Yeah.
That's two inhibitors down. The Civil Ultimate being popped along with the tidal wave, but it's not going to be enough. Flash Hemo play coming in from Vladimir here. He's going to use the same import as well. How much damage? That is a lot of damage to come out onto Silver. Surely going to be Red Riding Panther to go down. It's a double last breath coming out of Luki. But Luki running back to base almost straight away.
Yeah.
Double kill coming out of Shasan. This is finally going to be the game for the Red side. 34, almost 35 minutes in.
Absolutely, and I think in the end there, that Mundo going down so quickly because 35 minutes into the game, no completed armor item, and a 9-5-18 Tristana. But overall, a very controlled game by Red. A little bit of styling and maybe made it longer than it had to be, but a convincing win of 50 kills to 14. And yeah, a very enjoyable game to watch. Coming out of that game, do you think we're likely to see any targeted bans in the next pick and ban series?
Not really. I just expect Team Talk to be different because in terms of customs, there's like a few target bans, but you can only target ban 3 people each. So I expect any bans to be changed. I mean, I expect Poppy and Heimerdinger for dibs, and that's really it. Like, everything else is just going to be sort of what strong at the moment because as you can see, all the power picks were open and they just went for what they were comfortable with. So I don't expect any specific target bans besides those 2 that I mentioned. So yeah, just waiting for either if we are going to get another sim game, just wait for the invite. And looks like the new champion has been revealed on the league client, and it does look really, really cool. Although sadly, it's yet like a champ every 2 weeks now for Riot.
Yeah, right.
Well, in terms of it being an out, I mean, he does look really cool though.
What do you think? What do you think of the power creep in recently released champions, with a lot of them being considered either first picks or ban worthy? Do you think that new champions, that we've always seen a pattern where new champions released are very powerful and then nerfed back to kind of an acceptable level? But do you think that recently the champs that have been coming out have so much innate power in their kit that it's making older champs more irrelevant, especially ones that haven't seen reworks?
Yeah, I mean, it's like with Echo, where as soon as he was released, it was just constant spam. Like he was just doing, even like now, he's just doing so much damage, or he's just doing no damage at all. Like Rek'Sai still, after everything, he's still a top tier pick and whatnot. Bard has been a champion in recent memory that wasn't picked right from the get go. Maybe along with Azir. There are some champions like Vel'Koz who pretty much got nerfed and we haven't seen him since. So it really depends on how Riot nerfs that champion and whatnot. We are getting invited into the second game here of customs. So far, it's all the same people. Yeah, but this, I don't know what the Sea Champion is going to be in terms of anything. Like, I saw the video for it and it was cool. Yeah. Hopefully, there's going to be some actual lore behind it instead of just one sentence of text.
Well,
and hopefully it's related. I hope it's Nautilus related because it makes sense because he's from the deep, and I like Nautilus.
I'm not sure who it was, but I heard that Riot recently employed a fantasy writer or a role-playing game story writer to help them beef up the lore and stuff a little bit because it is very very lackluster unfortunately, and there's great potential for building that into the whole culture of League of
Yeah,
Legends.
like League lore is actually better than what you would think because you got like so many different. I call them factions. There's just so many, and like it should like encompass maps and like it should encompass more maps and whatnot related to each area, even if it's just like have the same 5v5 deal and the same format of like the towers and inhibitors and blah blah blah, but just have it in different locations and maybe have different things that go on in each whatever it's called. They just have them in each
Faction each country, but
yeah, like have each area be playable and have different like quirks to each area that might be different. Instead of it being a Baron buff, have it be something else.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking them to invite. Yeah, you've got an invite. Oh, he's getting an invite, so it's no, it's. Let me copy paste it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they think it's Johnson. It's not. It's John Stone.
That's correct, everybody. JOHNSTONE. So, I've struggled with that all my life, but now I'm living in Scotland and people just get it right. So it's
An
fantastic.
Irishman living in Scotland. Damn, son.
Yeah, I know it. How unique. I'm such a special snowflake.
And then it's like I also like to live dangerously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like for the LoL UK thing, and it's like, well, it's not working, so there's not much we can do about that, boys. That's why we're streaming on here.
Yeah,
That's,
absolutely. The
that's
stream key,
literally it. If it worked, we'd be on the LoL UK thing.
the stream key that I got from
Yes,
Gary.
my darts game this Thursday got cancelled. Get in there. Boom. Oh.
Yeah, people should be
Hey,
nice.
Lukey, calm down, boy.
People should be nice. Anyway, so yeah, really enjoyable game there. I think particularly the Tristana was really effective. They're able to trade early in lane, and even with the sustain on the Nami side, force blue back under their tower, make them susceptible to ganks. So yeah, very very strong Tristana there, which isn't necessarily what you'd expect going into a severe early game. Do you think maybe that blue whiffed their potential to have a strong lane phase there, or could it potentially be in the Lee Sin jungle influence that pushed them back?
I feel bottom side did with a little bit in there, like what their power potential was. Maybe it was just a complete skill mismatch, really. And because the Lee Sin didn't really gank bot heavily until sort of a little bit later in the game. He was mostly focused on mid, getting the first getting the Wukong ahead. Then he just sort of went to his own jungle and thumbed up because he knows, well, if I'm not going to build tanky, I'm going to need a lot of damage, and that's what he did. He just built quite a few damage items. I think I only remember one tank item being on him that entire game. That was just a dedicated tank item. It wasn't just sort of an off tank damage item. So Lee Sin building more damage oriented to decide to just sort of help Wukong get ahead because he was going to be the only lane that really was going to fall properly behind. Seeing as Tristana and Soraka just got ahead, and then Lee Sin just farmed his jungle, got ahead of the Yasuo and items, and it was just the all smiles from there.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't ever feel like Blue were in control of the game and able to dominate the pace of it. So they get a remake here, and we see a largely untouched team on what was Blue's side. Chris has changed over, but Alpheus is still there with Lukey and MZ. It's hard to keep track of who, but Deltron has switched sides for this game as well. So,
Yeah, I think Mataju is the only new player if he was in the last game because
well, we've lost SK1. Kebab
Oh yeah, we also see SKT as well. Like him and Red Riding Panda are both left. So I think it's Kabato and Mataju that are both new here, and everyone else is
Yes.
relatively the same. Everyone just switching around because it's like look, it's
Daihatsu on Purple's team too as well. I think is potentially new.
yeah. Alpheus was on Vladimir and went stupidly big,
Yes.
and he's unranked apparently. I'm going to assume that's a Smurf because it's wait. So it's, oh yeah, I think it is a Smurf because Dibs Dinger is also on a Smurf account. As you can see, he's unranked. And if you've seen him play beforehand, you would know he's actually not a rank. He's not actually an unranked player.
Potentially,
So
potentially his rank,
Pacarino,
his Heimerdinger only Smurf, right? Let's just take a real quick look, see if I've got it. I hope you don't mind for the whole world to see, Dibs, but here's your match history. So, seeing a lot of karma in there. Oh, and into picks and bans.
yeah, picks him mans. I expect Poppy Heimerdinger for purple side as Dibs Dinger is on blue side. So I just expect to be straight away, boom, boom, get it done. Bans, I feel they're mostly going to be the same because we have mostly the same players. Yasuo, yeah, because yeah, definitely Yasuo ban. Yasuo jungle was pretty overpowered in that last game. Actually, going to switch over to Gragas this time for the first ban. Riven, the next ban. So it looks to be mostly target bans. So Sejuani. So either Poppy or Heimerdinger are going to be open here. And Poppy and Heimerdinger are left open. So could see Dibbledinger on one of his main champions. We could just go for something completely different here. Grip has his Tristana open for the go for it again.
It's interesting to
Was
see
very
three
effective in
jungle
the
bans
last
come
game.
out from red team. So do you think there's a jungle threat on blue team that we need to be aware of here? But Grip hovering over the Lucian, so maybe has tried the Tristana and wants to move on to something else.
Yeah, maybe just not be as predictable. Does pick another, has another late game. Basically, a Tristana with a better ultimate, I would say, in terms of the late game. Because literally, Jinx is just another person who's in a power trough early and then just suddenly late game just hyper carries really hard due to her nerfs, where she's the entire game is now just a late game super carry.
Yes, I think that the nerfs have just kind of taken a little bit of laning pressure off the early game, but really made her still very, very strong in late game, especially when she gets up to 3 items. So that's locked in, and it's going to be a concern for red.
There's going to be so that's a off the bat. That's just late game written all over it for Jinx. But Carly and Udia being hovered here, and Udia has been seeing a little bit of limelight. Has been Unicorns and Loves. I guess you could say a pocket pick. Kickers has picked it a few times, and to varying degrees of success. Mostly in terms of actually being very successful. MZ just hovering over several champions, and it was a triple jungle ban as we mentioned. So I guess either Kabata or Mataju are actually pretty good junglers. Maybe Dibs or Alpheus are decent junglers, and they're scared of his champion pool. And it's going to be Zinzao jungle and Akali. For the moment, it looks to be Akali top to be picked. So late game and Akali and a bit of early game pressure coming out for the Zinzao.
I've seen MZ have a predilection towards these assassins like a Katarina's as well, so really really fun to watch MZ play that, and if she gets a bit of a looper style snowball advantage, could become a very scary damage threat here for red team. So on the flip side, we have Irelia locked in top lane to counter this Akali, and with that E stun on Akali coming in, Irelia with her hidden strikes can trade quite a bit of damage back, but as Akali turns from a tadpole into a frog and scales into late game, it's going to be harder and harder for the Aurelia to deal with her. Aurelia's really the mid game queen, but late game she falls off a little bit. And we see the Soraka
It
build up
depends on
again.
how she builds. If she builds like Zephyr, like Aurelia can still keep up in the late game, but she's definitely not a team fighter in the late game. She's more of a I'm going to split push a lane and force two people to deal with me. And Dibsadinger locking in Soraka, that could be a swap over. He could be going mid with it, or he could just be going again bot lane with the ignite. We saw how well he was doing in the last game, so I wouldn't put it past him. Although, again, his big champions, Heimerdinger and Poppy, were available unless he doesn't have it on this particular account, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm sure he does.
It
But
would
Echo and Misfortune are the hovers at the moment for Red Side, and they look to be the lock-ins as well.
I think it's safe to assume that any account name that has Dinger in it probably has a Heimer on it. But yeah, potentially a
Yeah.
swap, or potentially just enjoyed the Soraka so much last time is willing to dodge Heimer and take the Soraka out for the team. But that Kog'Maw pick on the other side, the Kog'Maw Akali, um, and then into the ultimate from Misfortune is a tremendous amount of area effect damage. So a chance for Kog'Maw and MF to pick down targets, and then the Xin Zhao and the Akali to engage and finish them off for cleanup. So a very strong team fight composition coming from Red so far.
Yeah, and okay, well, Luki had teleport up for some reason. I was getting confused here, but I feel the support role needs to have some form of big CC to sort of lock up people long enough for the misfortune ult to like sort of land on everyone. So maybe a Malphite support to maybe come in here. Um, has only been seen once in the NA LCS, and it didn't really get anywhere, but it can be effective.
Ooh,
Skarner and Fizz look to be the hovers in Skarner jungle would be very interesting here. And that is going to be locked in along with a mid lane Fizz. And Deltron Zero is hovering the what will most likely be the support Nautilus coming in.
so yeah, an interesting last minute switch there, but the Skarner's certainly giving a little bit more reliable engage than the Aurelia does, and the Fizz having the follow up there. So Fizz potentially a counter pick to Akali as well to disincentivize her from jumping into the middle of a grouped team. But the Nautilus would be a solid pick because the support does need to bring some tankiness to Red Team, which at the moment are lacking. Luki's likely to go Warrior and another damage item potentially before he goes tank items on the jungler, so it's good to see some tank and frontline coming in from the Deltron there on the Nautilus. But it's one thing that's noticeably absent is a proper frontline on blue. They have Skarner, who is quite tanky in himself, but in just a single character with relatively short range and not a lot of mobility, it's going to be tough for him to peel effectively for, say, an Akali and a Xin Zhao trying to jump onto this immobile Jinx in the back lane.
Yeah, one thing Skarner can do though is when Misfortune's channeling her ultimate, can just sort of ultimate her, and if he does become tanky enough, he can just literally walk into the backline, just pick off a carry to bring into his team, and then just have them blow them up. So that's one big damage dealer down. So Fizz versus will be Kog'Maw in the mid lane, Fizz versus Kog'Maw with Aurelia versus Akali in the top lane. So not sure how those matchups are going to go. Bot lane, I feel is going to be Jinx is going to have the slight advantage because I haven't seen Misfortune in lane in a very long time, let alone with a Nautilus. Nautilus is going to give a little bit of pressure in CC and will be the tanker of the two in the beginning. So I don't know how the bot lane is really going to go at the moment. I feel this is just an up in the air game.
I think your first thought may have been right, and that Jinx, with the splash damage and the long range of the rockets, is assuming that it's not an MF mid lane, but I think we can safely say it's probably an AP Kog'Maw mid lane. That the Soraka is going to lend sustain to Jinx and allow her to poke and do trades and still come out ahead. And even though Nautilus is tanky, there's no sustain down there, so it'll have to be well played by Red to make sure that Blue don't snowball a huge advantage and then take that to the rest of the map and just destroy all their turrets and structures.
Yeah, both teams really screaming sort of late game. I feel you've got Jinx, who's known for a very good late game. Fizz gonna have a lot of damage in the late game. Aurelia can keep up in the late game, but depending on her build, she can be a very big tanky frontliner, or she can be a very annoying split pusher. Skarn is going to be very tanky in the late game. May even go for one or two damage items because he can be very good with damage. Can go for Iceborne Gauntlet or Blade the Rune King for a little bit of sustain and whatnot, and add a little bit of CC. And then with purple side, you've got obviously Akali, Kog'Maw, Misfortune, who are going to be all very effective in the late game. Xin Zhao and Deltron Zero to be those tank lines for purple side.
Yes, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I think that in terms of power spikes, that blue team will come on a little bit earlier. Fizz doesn't really need a lot of items to be effective. Skarner just needs his 6. Aurelia, once she gets the Sheen, she does a lot of damage. And Jinx and as Soraka, as we said, probably will have no problems. So I think that it'll be on Red to make sure that they have really good ward coverage to make sure that his jungle Skarner isn't allowed to come in and get picks that starts a snowball because you really want to make sure that Jinx stays behind. And we could potentially see a lot of attention from this Xin Zhao and Luki going bot lane to make sure that Soraka is forced out of lane or Jinx is forced back and that this MF is able to farm to the point where she's able to stand on her own 2 feet, basically.
Yeah, and with Mataji on Skarner, I'm not in terms of his boots. I am curious on what boots he's going to go for. I feel it's going to be one of three of either Moby boots, Swiftness boots, or Merc treads because he wants to be fast to get into the back line, but there is quite a bit of CC on red side, so he might want Merc treads just so he can sort of get in there. And if he had TP, maybe instead of flash, he could just sort of TP home guard and pick up a carry and drag them into the enemy team. But obviously, that will not happen at the moment. So, there's just wondering what his build can be because again, Skarner hasn't been obviously seen in a very very long time in any sort of form of competitive. So, it'll be interesting to see what is going to be built here on him for this team comp.
Yeah, I think we can expect him to go into Cinderhulk. I think with the Kog'Maw and the Akali, it would be smart of him to build a Locket or certainly a Banshee's Veil. And we may potentially see a Locket come through from Dibs as well, although with his AP centric builds, maybe not so much. But you definitely want to see some good magic resist on the blue team because that's where a lot of the threat is coming from with this Kog and this Akali. And yeah. So we're loading into the Rift, and it looks like we're going to go live very shortly. So, yep. We'll just have to see how this plays out for the teams, but it looks like it's going to be an interesting match anyway, to be sure.
Yeah, an even game with no real anyone getting an advantage at a certain point in the game. I feel even if it's late game, both teams can win, but I feel Purple side will have the late game advantage as I feel their team is more fleshed out for the late game than Blue side is. But it doesn't mean Blue side cannot win in the late game. They just need to land the right things on the right targets.
Yeah, it is interesting to see that Purple team are immediately able to win the skin war, whereas they've got 4 skins to the 3 skins on blue teams. So yeah,
they have. Well, it does make sense that they have 4 skin and the team that has AD on it does not have 4 skins.
Definitely. So Secret Agent Xin Zhao, Nurse Akali, Reindeer Kog'Maw, Mafia Misfortune. We've got Order of the Lotus Aurelia, Order of the Banana Soraka, and we're into the Rift. Brilliant.
And Firecracker Jinx.
Oh, that's right. And Firecracker Jinx.
I'm disappointed with no Nautilus skin. All of Nautilus's skins are really good, and yet he doesn't have any of them.
Yep, I can't help but feel that Jinx had a chance to synergize as well with the Mafia Xin Zhao. Mafia Jinx being a great skin as well, but interesting to see how they're playing up. Funny that
plot twist, Jinx was on the enemy team all along.
Yeah.
Just assassinates her own teammate.
So it looks like a pretty standard start. It doesn't look to be any invades. Blue are splitting up to make sure that there's no intrusions into their jungle. Red are clustered down towards the blue side. So yeah, pretty standard start. Nothing fancy or hanky from these guys. So, I think that potentially Red could have had a pretty strong early comp to invade and maybe try and get some wards down or force a buff out, but they've decided to start passive here.
I mean, they do have the Ultron Zero just to land a nice hook, and they have a slightly higher damage start with going for Doran's Ring, whereas this has gone for Flask, so they would have a slight damage advantage if they wanted to engage. Jinx, all on their own here, Soraka a little bit away from her, so could potentially see them maybe collapsing on to Jinx. So they are going to go in here. LoLUK is going to start picking up onto Jinx. It is going to knock up Soraka in the end, and a lot of damage is going down here in the early here. Looks to be flash forced by Soraka. So another flash coming out here from Misfortune, but nothing to come out of it. So AD carry flash for support flash isn't exactly worth it, and Ghost was actually used as well from Kog'Maw. So a few too many summons I feel traded for what was attendedly just going to be a support kill.
Definitely. If Red were going to burn flashes for that, then they should have all done it and secured the kill. The slow from Soraka and the Tribush did a lot of work to make sure they weren't able to prosecute the kill. But yeah, interesting. It seemed like it went in Red's favour with the health bars, but as you say, a summoner advantage over blue team, which
actually was 2 for 2. Actually, the heal was used from Jinx as well, but still, flash on AD carry is still major, especially if he does get stunned up by the Soraka with her silence. So can still be devastating not having that flash up.
Yes, so no flash on Soraka and no heal on Jinx means that potentially a bit of early pressure here from MF, who's known to be a lane bully as well. So if Nautilus lands the right hook, they could take the engage and go for it.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how many Qs Soraka can land to get her health up, and then how much she can heal Jinx for At the moment, it
Interest,
looks like the jungles are just gonna farm up and not really go for any ganks yet.
yeah, interesting to see that Aurelia did go and do a camp. Um, she did the Raptors, I believe, and then based and TP'd, but she didn't buy any items against the Sakali, so is just sitting on a few more pots. And an early level 2 and a little bit of CS, so she didn't have to go one on one in the lane there. But some good trades down bot lane for blue team, and as we said before, with the sustain from the Soraka, blue are able to be a bit more aggressive and get away with it.
And I feel that's probably why Divs went for the Soraka pick again. He was making some really good plays. There's going to be a bit of a trader in the top lane. And with Aurelia, I think Aurelia picking up that early level 2 was just saying, well, I know I'm probably going to get bullied by Akali, so I'll just get an early level 2, try and keep up the levels of her. And just doing that one camp isn't going to get her that many more items. So I think it was literally just, I'll get one extra health pot. And they are still trading a lot here with Akali winning that trade. There's also trading a little bit in the mid lane, with Fizz forced to jump away. So it looks like blue side are really on the back foot here with this comp at the moment in terms of the solo lanes.
You get about 230 gold if you find a camp and go back, which means if you don't buy your 2 pots and just stick to the flask, you can buy a cloth armor and go back to lane with that. But against a magic damage opponent, it's kind of fallen out of fashion to do that camp. It does give Aurelia a bit of extra sustain. She is weak early. She gets a level 4 power spike, as you see her use Equilibrium Strike into hidden strikes, I believe, to get the true damage there, but she shouldn't be dueling so sustained now. She's just
the anchor toss did land onto Jinx, but nothing else to really come out of it. Zinzal
double chompers
is coming up top lane, but are going to be traded in the mid lane. Divs is getting taken quite low here. There's some more trading onto Chris, who is getting poked out quite a bit. And Zinzal looking for the gank top lane, with Aurelia being incredibly low and is running low on mana as well. Has used all of her flask charges, so she doesn't have that much mana left. Will need to last hit to restore her mana pool here.
Yeah, so a very unfavourable trade there for Kobato on the Aurelia, and if Zin is able to get the gank as this wave pushes out, could be devastating for her. And that's it. Here he comes.
Speaking of diving, they're diving onto Aurelia here. There is going to be a flash coming out of Zinza, but the stun lands onto LoLUK here. They are going to try and tower dive a bit. It might not be enough here. And Kobato is going to try and flash to get Akali, but it's not going to be enough. LoLUK picks up first blood, but it is going to be traded. So traded kills here, but Aurelia flashed a little bit early. Could have actually gotten a double kill here. There's actually going to be a trade also here onto Fizz, and Fizz is going to use the Ignite, is going to pick up the kill onto Cogmore here. Divzading is way too far up front, might actually go down here. The Misfortune is actually getting caught up. Divzading is going to pick up the kill onto Deltron 0, and suddenly blue side are getting ahead once again. Divzading and Grit, great bot lane and getting their lane ahead.
Yeah, so across the board it was 3 for 1. Fizz using the Ignite and the Playful Trickster to get in and finally use his Q dash onto the immobile Cogmos, so a great kill early there. We saw Aurelia go down early, but you'd expect that, she is weak earlier. And bot lane, again, great use of the chompers from Grit, is able to get a double kill for them there. And with this Jinx, well, a single kill, sorry, I think that...
It was almost a double kill. Chris was very low.
Yeah, Chris managed to get away, but heal is blown. Flash is still down from earlier, so potential for Jinx to get more and more pressure here. I think the lane in the bot and the mid are definitely going in blue's favour at the moment. Aurelia's having a bad time of it, but what that will come down to with those top laners in this meta is who's able to clear out and roam and have an advantage, maybe get a TP to bot or mid and start to snowball other lanes, and that's where we'll see the real winner in that lane.
Yeah, and Akali picked up the cloth armor, but she to come out of Aurelia, so a bit of a mismatch in what she bought for her defense here. And even though Jinx did get good in the bottom lane, that's actually MZ and Aurelia going to trade a little bit. But yeah, it was only pickaxe and a attack speed dagger, so only attack speed really in favor, but Grit is actually going to get hit by the anchor toss, and Luki coming in from the backside is forced to flash out of Jinx here. Divzading is getting caught out so heavily, is forced to flash as well. That's both summons down for the AD carry and flash down for Soraka. As a trade in the top lane, MZ is getting hit on very hard. The ultimate is being blown out of Aurelia at the moment. Hasn't hit MZ once yet, but he's still going to dive and still going to pick up Aurelia anyway, and that damage from Aurelia early is paying off along with that big Sheen proc. And now Red is going to get a lot of damage here on the tower. His Fizz is actually going to be diving in onto Cogmore, but it's not going to result in much else. Your mic's off. Well, Kabato's still getting traded in here by Aurelia, and not gonna go down by the looks of it. Aurelia looks to be getting away here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
thanks.
get it.
So,
Okay, there you go.
interesting early itemization for the Akali because while Aurelia does do some attack damage, she's mostly playing around her W true damage proc. So, building pure health against Aurelia may have been better in this case than the cloth armor that she was on at the time when she went down. But getting caught there in that stealth field really had nowhere to go. So, a good kill and across the board, 4 for 1. For blue team, they've got a 1.2k gold advantage. It looks like their CS advantage is pretty much across the board for them as well. So here we go.
Chumler was going to go in onto Coleman. They're going to leap in onto Coleman. Coleman's sure to go down. He's just going to stand there and accept his fate. The passive shouldn't be enough. We're going to try and grab some CS out of it. Almost got his down, just not enough damage. And Zinzao trying to, I think, he just took the blue buff or at least scouted to see if it's there. And Skarner may have caught him out. I'm not sure if the blue buff was actually given over in the end. Let me just give a quick click there. Yeah, blue buff was indeed taken by Zinzao, so a good jungle invade there. And Zinzao didn't pick, he hasn't actually gotten his jungle item yet. He went for Moby Boots with the flash cooldown proc, because Kabata once again just diving in onto Aurelia, is using her ultimate still, could have probably leaped on her for the kill, but probably just didn't want to get a bit too greedy, just wants to push her away from tower. Seeker's arm guard is on Akali at the moment, so she's really just stacking that armor.
Aurelia had used one dash to minion and used the next, got a reset on the kill, and used the next dash onto Akali, so didn't have the reset from that to go further, but still a lot of damage.
Yeah, nice stun there, and Grit is going to pick up his first kill of the game. A great stun there. With, I believe it was a Flame Chompers, so Dibs and Grit getting ahead once again this bot lane. Just like the last game where we thought there was a bit of a power trough in Grit's AD carry choice, he's just decided, nope, I'm still going to win my lane very heavily. Bullet time to come out is going to clear the minion wave. Grit's going to take a few tower shots.
We've seen
good ultimate by Chris to
definitely
stop him from pushing hard.
We've seen some really good synergy between the zone on Dibs on the Soraka and the use of the Chompers. At least 3 or 4 good Chompers from Grit, and that's showing. And just looking across the board at where the kills are happening on blue as well, you've got 2 kills onto the Aurelia, you've got 2 kills onto the Fizz. These would be champions you typically do not want to feed early. So, and here's Zinzao.
Yeah, he's going to use the ultimate onto Kabato. Kabato is still quite squishy at this point. Might actually go down here. He's going to use our ultimate. Once again, he's going to get away. This time they're not going to Tiber under tower because they remember what happened last time. Luffy was taken rather low there. He is at about half health. Is hitting himself up. Still hasn't fully completed his... he has got an upgrade to his jungle and a long sword. And Kabato's surely going to go down there. Actually, he's going to land the stun onto Luffy. Luffy's going to flash in there. And that is going to be MG picking up a kill. So Kabato probably staying a little bit too long there. He's going to pick up a phage though. And Luffy going to go back with now a kill and an assist. Try and complete his jungle item or at least pick up some wards.
Yeah. And starting to take a bit of pressure off that Akali there, which is great. But still seeing the advantage for blue team here, and with the Kog'Maw behind and the Akali starting to get behind, it's going to be really hard for them to claw their way back into this. But here we see Fizz in the mid lane with a little bit of help from Skarner. Maybe a little bit early for that gank, a little bit telegraphed in what they were doing, but I wouldn't be surprised to see blue, who now have great vision in the bottom jungle, start to transition for lane pressure and an early Drake. At 11-12 minutes now, it's got to be the next thing on their mind, and then start to pop down those outer turrets with this Jinx, who now has about a 7 or 8k, about a 1 wave advantage over MF in terms of farm. And they're both sitting on a pickaxe and a BF, so not a lot of item disparity there, but still Jinx just so strong at this stage, able to get FaceTime on that turret without much of an answer from Red.
Yeah, about 500 gold, 600 gold she's ahead, and despite Ogmaw's gold lead, it's the kills that are just helping Fizz, get an item ahead. Luki is going to come in, he's going to dodge the Flame Chomper, surely going to jump in onto Grit. Grit's going to immediately flash it. Luki is getting taken down immediately low. Nice block of the Super Mega Death Rocket there. Now Skarner going to jump in. He's going to grab Chris, is going to feed, and Chris surely to go down here. He's going to go down to the red buff of Mataji while Fizz picks up Nautilus. So that was a 2-for-0 exchange down the lane there.
Yeah, an absolute disaster.
And that's the example of Skarner's ultimate just taking down a carry.
Yeah, absolutely. And Luki down there not able to be effective and not able to create any pressure anywhere else on the map. Kog'Maw just AFK farming in the mid lane. So very much Blue are making the rotations, getting the kills, and finally starting to take the objectives. So as the gold is stretching out to about a 3.6k advantage now, 12 minutes in, the snowball has begun, and it's up to Red to do something really drastic to break it up.
Yeah, Kabata once again just popping his ultimate. MD in her form here, gonna try and do something. Is still just getting out traded despite the jungle pressure from Zinzao. And Kabata gonna dive on the tower here. Is not gonna have enough damage to pick up the kill. It's gonna get taken rather low, so Kabata may want to just back off here. And it is gonna be the first dragon for blue side. And Zinzao once again coming down here. Is going to get spotted out by the ward. MZ's still going to get outplayed there, but Kabata surely going to go down to the Zinzao. Is going to get smited. Is going to try and jump away, but it's not enough. Luki is just going to get the kill. And Skarner does actually end up picking up Boots of Mobility, and that could even be a Righteous Glory or a Warmonks to come out of that bracer with Skarner.
Yeah.
And once again, my spectator mode has just frozen.
Well, now's my moment to shine. So, while blue team are pushing down this turret, the Chum the Waters misses onto Kog'Maw, but he goes through with the dash. The Super Mega Death Rocket also whiffs, so the tower not going down, no kill onto Kog'Maw, but it's only a matter of time. Kog'Maw recalling. But looking at the items really quickly, completed Cinder Hulk and a Bracer, as you said, so probably into either a Warmogs or a Righteous Glory on the Skarner. He's looking really good. Aurelia's got two components of her Sheen or of her Triforce with the Sheen and the Phage now completed, and her, importantly, her Mercury Threads. She did a very good job to bait MZ into that last engage. She had very little health, but that's when Aurelia is able to use her Equilibrium Strikes to stun the enemy as opposed to slowing them. So when Akali came in, she got a full stun, then procced her W and did true damage, so burned through. So a very nice bait there. But overall, blue team's still very much in control of the game. Nine kills to 3 up, and now stretched out to a 3.1k gold advantage. So yep, you're going to start to see item breaks come in early, where Fizz now has the completed Lichbane onto just the Aether Wisp and the Doran's Ring of the Kog'Maw, so he doesn't even really have any reliable mana sustain, and if he's not getting blues, he's not really going to be effective long term in fights. He'll get a bit of early poke down and then mana out, and then just sit in the back lane waiting to get assassinated. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, despite all of the pressure...
Oh, okay, there you go. From back.
Welcome back, mate. Despite all the pressure, Chris has managed to stay in the game, only really being a dagger down on Grit at this stage, so that's good, but I think Jinx is going to outscale MF anyway, so being even is being behind at this stage. And then just finally in the jungle, we covered that, so on the other side, completed Warrior finally.
Chum the Water is missing there, but the anchor toss to come in. Delta Zero is actually going to get caught out here. The Playful Trickster is going to come out, and Mataji is going to pick up that kill. The Chomp is going to land, actually, no, the ultimate to come out of Skarner once again. Jinx picking up that kill. It's 11-3 at the moment for blue side, and they really need to start pushing their advantage because they're only up by one tower. Luki going to dive once again onto Kabata. It's going to land the stun there, and it's going to heal a little bit, and Kabata is actually going to pick up a kill under tower, and the bullet time to come out. Grit is going to pick up his kill for himself there. The ultimate to come out of Kabata could actually turn this around here. And just Dibs Ding is going to come out, and MZ surely is going to be frustrated now. She could have gotten Kabata, but it's probably going to go down herself. It's going to go down to Fizz. And even though it was a great outplay there by Chris, it's still a 2-for-1 trade.
Yep, in the
or
end.
3-for-1 with Kog'Maw now only just getting up.
And again, the Aurelia's 4-3-1, the Fizz in the middle is 4-0-2, Jinx is 2-1-3 with 130 CS, so these carries are getting the gold to be really, really devastating. Top lane's about to go down, and that's going to see the gold advantage for blue stretch out to just under 6k, so yeah, the game is starting to snowball pretty hard. Outer turrets are all down, Drake is down, so not a lot of objectives right now. Blue is going to look to buy up so that they come to the next fight with an item advantage as opposed to a gold advantage. Get vision down and start to get the picks, and we're going to see probably a tough time for red over the next 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, Medjai's picked up onto visiting on Soraka. He's 1-0-7, and is going to be the Righteous Glory to come out of Skarner. Does have the Catalyst now. The Super Mega Death Rocket almost picking up Kog'Maw. Can't even get his own blue buff now. Due to that Super Mega Death Rocket, a little bit more damage than that would have been a dead Kog'Maw. Could have even been a dead blue buff. And yeah, red side not even safe in their own jungle at this point. And this is the power of Jinx. When she gets ahead, that pink ward should be swept by Matager, although there is a Delta from Zero to come on to try and stop that. Disconnection by MZ. Not sure if it's going to pause or not. Deltron Zero is getting help quite a bit here. Not sure if it was a rage quit or if he literally. Oh no, it's just a lot of lag by Akali, so I don't know if she's going to be back or it's going to be a pause or whatnot. The depth shots are going on to Dibsadinger. Of all people, I think we're trying to aim it onto Grit. From the waters is going to miss here, and Akali's reconnected. I think the mic's gone down again, dude.
I'm sorry, mate. Yes, but I wasn't
There
saying
you
that
go.
in a way. But yeah, Chum the Waters does
Okay.
miss, so that's a key cooldown for down for blue, but they still have a lot of pressure here. Starting to get together in siege with this Jinx, while the Aurelia is split pushing, is putting a lot of pressure on blue, or a lot of pressure on red, I should say.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Kabata doing what she needs to do is just stop Emily from getting big, stop her from getting team fight, and just pushing the top lane. That's really all she knows she can do at this point. She's probably just going to go into magic resist now, probably pick up a Hex Drinker, or just go straight into sort of like Banshee's Veil, Spirit Visage, while the rest of her team just fighting a 4v4. Because, I mean, Zinzong picking up a 2 of the Goddess. I assume that's from Muramana. Again, not sure really why that's been picked up. Is it another sort of Yasuo things like Tear of the Goddess on every single jungler I ever play?
Yep, MZ.
MZ diving in, getting dived on, I should say, by Kabato. Surely going to go down here. Relia tanking the tower. Is going to get outplayed, actually. And MZ's going to pick up a kill for herself. A little bit of greed coming out of Kabato there.
But
Uh,
yeah, Kabata just
yeah.
had to wait another 10 seconds for the minions to catch up and could have done it, but as you said, very greedy and gets taken down by a nice outplay. Fizz looks to come to even the score, but he's driven off as well because of the lack of creeps. So a little bit of advantage clawed back for red there, but as the Drake is now live and blue have most of the vision control in that blue side jungle, they're able to rotate down without too much fears of being caught. So they may have to turn here as Kog'Maw's coming in to do some poke down onto the Jinx. And one
Yeah,
corner
but the
of her vision.
jungler's in the top lane with Fizz getting pincered in by both Akali and Zinzao. The Chum the Wars did actually come out, but Zinzao is going to take down Fizz, get the shutdown whilst the dragon was picked up. So two dragons, the flash ultimate to come out of Skarner once again, getting his ultimate bullet time to come out. It does force the heal. So a good bullet time to get some AoE damage. And that's one thing Red Side can do, is just make Red Blue Side come into these sort of funnel areas and then just blow out bullet time. Once again, Kabato wants to land the stun here. Can't the TP actually to come out of Akali.
Yeah,
So
but
good TP there from Akali to get out of the area.
yeah, good to get out, but a key summoner blown now, and she's not able to even hold the split push and join her team if needed. So, blue team can dictate the pace of the next fight. They can split 1-3-1 or 4-1 if they want to, and then have that Aurelia, whose TP is actually also down, so now it's even, but have that Aurelia push in and roam and be there before Kali can.
Yeah, Kabato getting jumped in on by Luki once again. Luki is just turning into a 2v1 lane at this point. Kabato once again jumping away. Actually jumped into the red buff and whilst and it's forcing the flash over the wall there, but it's probably still going to go down in the end. Does get jumped onto, but he's going to get away actually. No, he's going to be caught with the flash and pick up the kill there, but MZ is very, very low. Surely going to go out in a sec. No, she is not. Everyone's forced to back away. No, the super mega death rockets come out of Jinx.
I winced as that
And that,
hit because I know it hurts so much, but MZ going down to that.
uh,
It looked like red got a really good fight there. It looks like blue had bad positioning and they were able to get the kill. But just the strength now from the gold advantage, the 5k gold advantage that blue have in all of these kills and these turrets and these drakes is meaning that even when they take bad fights, they can come out ahead as long as they do sustain damage to the carries. And we see Akali go down, so this will be a mid-inner go down and a little bit more pressure for blue, but I feel at this stage they can group and rotate for whatever objectives they want, with Jinx doing 550 damage crits against minions in her rocket form, so really, really strong now, sitting on her
yeah,
completely.
Luki gonna jump in. Luki getting quite gets salty. Grit's gonna pick up yet another kill here, whilst Cogman's getting battered and the red buff is not helping. And they could try and take Baron, but Skarn and Nor are really on that tanky at the moment. We're just Righteous Glory and I believe it's Cinderhulk.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stalker's played Cinderhulk on the Skarner, so not a lot of tank threat at the moment.
yeah,
Um, Zinzal with the BM in the chat.
and you've always got to respect Kog'Maw's long range poke and Akali's stealth engage when you're doing a Drake. If Akali got in on 5 men in the Drake in the Baron pit while Blue.
Actually going to be a diving onto Dibsy Dinger here. A lot. The Depth Charge was actually also thrown onto him. He is going to go down. The Super Mega Death Rock is going to pick up Misfortune on the backside. So carry for support at the moment. Fizz is going to pick up Deltron 0. So, and MZ actually is getting chased down here by Grit here. Grit getting bursted down at the moment. Zinzao is going to get the shutdown gold onto the Jinx. And now Chum the Woods is going out onto Luki here. A little bit of damage coming in, but Aurelia coming in from the backside. It is going to get knocked back here. And the Cloak isn't going to be enough. It's going to take down Akali. Surely Luki to go down as well. And they are going to try and jump in onto this Cogman. It's surely going to be an ace. And it's going to be an ace for 2 in favor of blue side.
The fight was very chaotic and it went back and forth a lot. But in the end, after Red got some kills, they all funneled into that Raptor area. And there was pretty much a 3-direction flank coming down onto them. So the Aurelia getting into the then backline and able to do an awful lot of work, taking down MZ, Luki, and then the Kog'Maw that was left. So yeah, a very drawn out, protracted fight, so much so that some of the original victims were alive before it ended, but ultimately again going at the advantage of blue, who are now up 20 kills to 9 and have a huge 8k gold advantage 23 minutes into this.
Yeah, Maju taking their enemy blue buff now, so it's a blue buff advantage for blue side, along with pretty much everything else. At the moment, they're about 9k gold, soon to be 10k gold ahead. They're ahead by 11 kills. They're up 2 dragons, but only up 3 towers. They could have actually pushed a lot more than they have been with the comp that they have.
So the Muramana completed onto Xin Zhao.
It's a nice anchor toss there onto Kavata. Kavata now, it's now 3 people needed just to take him down. Chris going to pick up that one.
But in order for that split push to be effective, blue have to be able to take another objective across the map when red commit what was actually 4 people to that top. So Jinx, Garner, Fizz need to group and take presumably bot inner. Xin Zhao looks to stop that now with a sneaky ninja gank from behind, but he may be digging himself into a hole with Fizz nearby.
Yeah, Fizz nearby, and he's a little bit low here, forced to flash out of Grit there, but Grit is going to use Super Mega Death Rocket. It's just kiting back nicely. Chumnawaz is going to miss, but Luki is probably going to go down. He does go down, but does get Jinx for it. Chumnawaz did end up missing. Nice flash there by Fizz, and the stun actually going to go onto Kog'Maw here. Kog'Maw's going to get bursted down. Jimson Dinger is going to pick up the last hit though. Yeah, Ankratos did miss by Nautilus and just hitting a wall.
Even without Jinx, blue still have so much damage. Interesting to see Luki actually flash into the bush so that Jinx lost vision for that last auto attack and he was able to get her down, but ultimately did go down himself despite the mischum the waters, which we've seen a few of them whipped. Can be a difficult skill to get, but yeah, again, more and more advantage for blue. And the turret stays alive, so no real hard advantage, but all the pressure is theirs, and we can see that there are no red wards beyond their own buffs at this stage, so the map is very, very dark and scary for them. Meanwhile, blue getting a little bit of vision into red side's jungle, but I'd like to see a little bit more so that they can catch red team transitioning between farming and defending the turrets, get the picks, and then turn that into a snowball win for themselves.
Yeah, Skarner picking up the Frozen Heart, even though you have Kog'Maw who has Loon's Echo, you have a Zhonya's and soon to be Hextech Gunblade, Akali. So really, it's just mostly respecting the misfortune at the moment. I do expect some MR to come out of him soon, as he'd even go for the Merc Treads. Kabato just be hemming at the moment onto Akali.
Yeah, I think the Frozen Heart is probably done primarily for the cooldown reduction because
wow, Kabato's getting busted down quite a lot here. The bullet times are also come out. 4 people on the top side at the moment. And they are going to jump in onto Kabato. Kabato is surely to go down, though the stun is actually going to deteriorate a little bit more. The flash, well, it looks to be flash depth charge there, but onto the support once again of Dibsy. They're not focusing anyone else. MZ is going to pick up a retribution. He's going to pick up a kill. Fizz is going to get a retribution kill onto Kog'Maw. They are jumping in. Chris is going to go down to the Ignite, a double kill going over to Fizz. They are going to jump in onto Nautilus as well. It's a triple kill now for Fizz. Is Fizz going to jump in and maybe get the quadra kill?
It's going to be a quadra.
MZ is going to take down the Jinx, and that is going to be a quadra and a dragon for blue side.
Fantastic quadra there from Fizz. Played around all of the cooldowns of red team, allowed a few of his teammates to strategically fall to set up the quadra, but very well played. A very protracted and chaotic fight again.
Zinzal's there, you might see a penta.
It would be a bit late in the game for it, but Luki has vision on Alpheus. He surely does at this stage. Yeah, there we go. Now Alpheus is hiding, but maybe Luki doesn't care so much. But after this amount of time, I don't think
Oh,
it
we're gonna see a TPS. We could still see the Penta maybe to come out here.
could be delayed Penta, but
Kabato does have flash if she wants to flash stun. It's good. Oh, the flash coming over. This is gonna mess up the jump, and it's gonna
oh,
be Kabato picking it up anyway.
yeah.
All that suspense.
I think at that stage too much time had elapsed for it to be a true penta, but yeah, definitely huge for Alpheus to get that now. 11-1-7 completed Lichbane, of course. He's got his Zanya's Hourglass and his Sork Boots, and what looks to be probably now a Luden's Echo or maybe a Rabadon's, but very, very scary fish in the mid lane. And this Jinx 5-4-10, she's now got her 3 item Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and looking to build a Bloodthirster. So really, really very strong at the moment. So yeah, I think we're going to see a couple of kills taken here for blue team turned into towers and nexuses or inhibitors, I should say. There being only one
Yeah, will
nexus.
soon be a Nexus as well.
Yeah,
And Aurelia building just straight up damage at the moment. Might actually be going for the Quicksilver sessions. MZ just getting locked up, is getting blown up, and Grit using the Super Mega Nephril get a bit of overkill, really. But still, it's gonna hopefully mean this top tower finally goes down after so much split pushing from Aurelia. And yeah, Zinzao jungle hasn't been that effective, hasn't picked up that many items since his Muramana pickup. He's going to be hooking onto Kabasade. He is fighting against 3 people. Surely going to go down. The blessing is going to come out, but it shouldn't be enough, really. But it is going to be enough. Kabato's going to get out of there. Brit's going to pick up a kill. This is also going to pick up a kill with Skana tanking that one up. Kabato diving in onto Kog'Maw is going to pick up a double kill and should actually get out of there alive. The passive isn't really going to do anything. It's going to be an ace for 0.
this Aurelia just running around on low health, getting equilibrium strikes onto everybody who's full health, shutting him down while the rest of the team roam and kill. Jinx getting excited between the top and middle inhibitors.
And that is a surrender to come out of red side.
So
Wow.
a great
Interesting.
a great game by Blue. Again, great control by them. Not as much of a kill advantage this time, but 15k gold advantage at 30 minutes is really significant, and almost double the kills on 34 to 4, 32 to 14 is more than double the kills. 3/3 in the advantage. So yeah, very well played by Blue. Red did have the potential with some really great plays during the mid game and the late early game, but weren't able to really turn those into objectives and global gold and start to claw back into it. So a very enjoyable game to watch overall.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we're going to see a third game. It's normally 2. Could see 3. Wait and see if there's an invite. We'll wait a few minutes. If there's no invite, that would be the end of tonight's customs games. But 2 very good games, and the bot lane has really been the MVP with the Grit and Dibsadinger. Both just great synergy, both games, and turning what are essentially weak early games a season, just turning them into absolute monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we were in LCK, then we definitely see that mid lane Alpheus on the Fizz with his 12-1-7 taking MVP. But yeah, definitely that Dibs did massive work on that Soraka, allowing Jinx to be as aggressive. Grit did massive work again with the Chompers, getting so, like at one stage, getting a double lockdown onto Nautilus and MF with Chompers, which is really hard to do, getting a kill on the Nautilus and forcing the MF out of lane. So yeah, once those guys started to get head ahead, it really was an easy or a slow and painful road for Red, and in the end, they decided to surrender to save themselves the pain.
Yeah, Zin wasn't very happy in the all chat. I think that might have thrown him off his game a little bit, to be honest. Just being a little. I'm not sure if it was just him just trolling, like jokingly, or if he was actually genuinely a little bit annoyed because he was making some good plays, but it was mostly camping the top lane, letting his other lanes to dry, and that Kog'Maw wasn't effective in the end. And I feel Zinzala cared a little bit more for the Kog'Maw, could have helped Kog'Maw gotten far ahead and have Kog'Maw be a big poking threat because Skarner wasn't building magic resist. So if Skarner had been weakened a lot sooner, that could have really turned some fights on and turned some more advantages around.
Yeah, definitely. So I think regardless of whether they go into a third game or not, at this stage, I'm gonna finish up the cast and the stream.
All right, so we will thank you guys for watching. I've been Soda Pop,
And I've been Irish Pete.
and we will see you later.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and make sure that you're liking the LoLUK Facebook group. If you're into casting, there's a LoLUK caster group, and also you can follow this Twitch channel and follow the LoLUK one as well, which we'll link for you shortly. So thanks everybody for watching and have a great night. We'll see you all again soon.